Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, we have to talk about the financial desperation inside the United States. There's signs if you look away from the stock market. What can you do now? Oh, my. You may not like it, but you have no choice unless you are rich. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information, and they may think that they're all by themselves with no way out. By the way, there's always a way out. It's just that you may have to work a little bit harder and come up with an ingenious plan a different way. You have to be able to adapt. But before we get into this, I got a special email from Mr. Dividend today, and it has nothing to do with the financials. I'm putting a link down below in the description box because a lot of people visit the state of Florida during the summer months. And there's flesh-eating bacteria that they keep under the radar. You know, Florida, the state, doesn't like to report hazards. And when you have over 100 people with flesh-eating organisms, that is a problem over the last few years. Just think about back in the old days when we had like the Pinto, the car, and less than 10 people, the car blew up, caught on fire. Less than 5 people, there was a worldwide, we got to change it, we got to ban, we got to stop it. Nowadays, they want to see people in the hundreds, in thousands to have something before they act. Humanity is going downhill. There's a reason. When there's desperation in the streets, then people tend to start being a little more attentive to their problems versus the outside, the others' problems. Long as it's not my problem, I won't deal with it. So anyhow, I had to put that in the chat room. Let me know what you guys are thinking because this is Money Making Monday live stream. And as you know, we talk about how you can make money in any time. And starting off, a lot of you are happy today doing the salsa dance, sitting in there doing the salsa dance because you got notifications from Yield Max ETF, Defiance Group, dividends that pay weekly, pay monthly. They happen to hit accounts today in most instances. Now, a lot of you may not understand what I'm referring to. I'm referring to stocks. I'm referring to dividends. I'm referring to passive income, making money while you sleep, while you party, while you're on vacation, while you can do anything and you're still making money. That comes in handy over time. That's why when there's desperation in the streets as there is now, unfortunately, it's going the wrong way. A lot of people do not have disposable income to buy into getting their own shares of stock so they can get that passive income. But a lot of you may or may not realize it. You are actually, most of the time, the bottom 90% who on average make the median income is $44,280 annually, have to pay attention to your expenses and how much money you have left over because 80% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. That's right, in America. Oh, don't worry. Canadian citizens are worse. 85% of Canadian citizens live paycheck to paycheck sometime during the month. The top 10, top 20%, they're still able to travel around, have fun. Why? Owners of business, investments that they've made over time. But unfortunately, desperation has hit the streets because even now, the buy now, pay later, that formula is no longer working because people can't even pay later now on the no credit, no qualifying buy now, pay later programs. Those are starting to have a problem. Think about all of this, ladies and gentlemen. The signs are here. You have to disregard the stock market. Oh, all-time record high, 8,500. NASDAQ today, it hit. Unbelievable. But you want to know why? There's a reason. Because if you're rich, you own stocks, you like tax cut, tax breaks. You like being able to own corporations and buy back your own shares of stock legally to increase your stock price. You love it when your government gives you government contracts. They pick their usual 100 to 200 companies that they're going to give millions, and some cases billions of dollars to their friends, which is on the stock market. Stock market goes up. Us little guys, we invest in the stock market too. But the problem is 93% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% of the wealthiest people. So again, that is why it moves differently than main. Now, let's get into some more because the desperation is here. Let me see who's in the house tonight. I don't see anyone yet, but hold on. We do have, I put in the links to the flesh eating situation and post-retirement travel. The man has been going on his worldwide tour, and I believe next month he starts it again, but there's only one way you can do it. He has avoided the desperation that's been going on because over the years, he made plans, jobs, pensions, real estate, money coming in, investments, ladies and gentlemen. It's mandatory. It's no longer maybe, might, should, could. You have to run with the big dogs. And unfortunately, the big dogs are going to leave you behind. But that does not mean we cannot partake. And post retirement travel, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening after his salsa dance earlier today. Hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we do here, trying to help everybody. A rising tide lifts all boats, ladies and gentlemen. We need you. EV Place, another investor's in the house, riding high on the wave because we love what's happening with the stock market when you're in the stock market. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline. Good evening, everyone. Let's roll. That's what we do. We roll it out. I give you the bad news, but don't worry. For every bad news, you have to know what the wealthy are doing. And once you understand what the wealthy are doing, you can piggyback. So let's give you an example. Even though there's desperation in the streets, you know what they're doing? They're giving crypto companies, crypto ETFs, AI companies, little known AI companies, government funds. That's right, your taxpayer money. They're picking who they're going to give it to. So you know Palantir. We talked about them for years. Now look at them from $7 up to around 70 or more. But the point is, they are one of the favorites. They got government contracts now. They have the CEO, 10 soldier, getting sworn in crazy to the military under lieutenant colonel status. But guess what? If you start thinking Palantir and you start thinking, well, wait a minute, if they're giving money to Palantir for security and facial recognition, Palantir doesn't do all of it. So what is Palantir investing in? So then you go, wait a minute, they're investing in other companies. Well, what? The odds of them other companies getting government contracts to increase their stock price, it's not rocket science, would be very, very good to invest in potentially, right? Another example. So we have stable coins come out. What's going to happen with crypto? We even have our own president who has his own coin. Do you think not investing in cryptocurrency, especially BTC and Ethereum, Bitcoin and Ethereum, would not be a wise idea along with other companies that, well, like MicroStrategy, that say, you know what, I think I'm going to buy some Bitcoin and we do some other business? Wouldn't it be good to start looking around for these other companies? Because they're going to be getting taxpayers' money, your money, my money, and they get to profit wildly while we can profit a little bit, no problem. That's what you have to start researching for, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you're going to win, because otherwise the desperation will continue. Your wages will not compare to inflation. So that's out the window. Your little 401k, which I hate to say little because you should have money in a 401k if you work for somebody or have a solo 401k. But if you're solo 401k, you understand 7%, 6% returns is unacceptable. Inflation is that. So you're not doing anything. So therefore, you have to figure out what can you invest in for your solo 401k. Go see Fidelity, Schwab. You can get your own 401k. Your business can get their 401k. You can be an employee of that 401k, and you can make more investments and tax write-offs. So the point I'm trying to make is you have to produce double digits if you can all the time for your returns. You can't sit there and be happy with a treasury bond of 4.3, 4.4% when inflation is more than that. And if it's twice as more than that, then that means you're losing. If the dollar value is down 10%, that means you actually lost 10% buying power, but you don't realize it because you didn't know the dollar declined 10% from January until now. So when you sit there and say, well, prices are going up, yeah, they're going up. It's costing you more to buy the same goods on top of whatever other economic situations are happening, such as tariffs. So you minus 10%, but it costs you not only the 10% that you lost in value, but another 10%. So in reality, it's 20%. So when the EU has a 15% increase on tariffs that USA citizens have to pay for any items coming from Europe in the EU zone, that's actually 25% to you and me. That's how it works. So you're not escaping. The only thing that's going to happen is desperation and signs are happening. So if you start going, well, I have to use my credit card. Again, 8 out of 10 people are using their credit cards to buy groceries. Because during the course of a month, your paycheck can't cover everything. So you don't have any more money until your next paycheck. And then when your next paycheck comes, you have to pay even more bills. That is the problem that is here. There's no way to run and hide. So you guys might as well get with the program. You only have one way out: investing. That's one way. But you can invest in real estate. You can invest in stocks, Bitcoin now. Crypto is going to be doing some crazy things. So beware. All right. Enough with my rant early. Excuse me. Lots of fake news using AI. It's exploding. Many times with the intention to manipulate public opinion. Be careful, team. Always validate info on valid websites. Very well said. Very well said, because there's people running around doing exactly what he's saying. I looked around even today and I saw all these people saying, get this crypto, get that crypto. And it wasn't Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then they were saying, oh, get this meme, get this coin. I'm just like, there's a proliferation. There's a reason. All of the hype, because of our government trying to do something with crypto, now all of a sudden it creates an atmosphere that people just want to dump in because they can make quick money. Be very careful. Very, very careful with all of it. Do not dump lots of money in. My cousin called me. Well, actually sent me a message and he started asking me about some crypto. And people are giving the same story. Well, we have crypto. It's going to be backed by some oil or some this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, well, what do you need to give them the money for? One of our failures before 2-3 years back was we believed these companies were actually using the crypto monies to go buy these assets. So then we would get a return. But as it turned out, they were just lining their pockets. The same thing. I said, this is the same thing that they've been doing for the last 6 years. He goes, they're saying they do. I said, don't do it. This is a thing. This has been going on for a long time. Tokenization, as they call it. Well, that's nice, but I can actually just buy gold, silver, platinum, oil. I can buy the asset myself. I don't need to give them the money, right? I know the promises of give 500, 10,000 sounds great, but it's not going to happen. It's not how it works because you can't get that money out. That's the problem. But validate the info is great. Whales, here we go. EV Place says it best. Whales are moving money from BTC to ETH and XRP. That's what we are waiting for. Exactly. All of it. We talk about XRP. If you guys haven't been around XRP, ETH, BTC in this new environment, you have to pay attention. There's all kind of opportunities that's coming, but like post-retirement travel was saying, you're going to have to go to credible sources. So, I mean, I just go to CNBC basically. That seems to be on par. Market Watch. I mean, you have to check and cross-reference to see what's going on. But unfortunately, what our government is doing, they're doing deals behind the scenes and telling us about it after the fact. So they're picking what's going to happen while their friends already know in advance. So the coin starts moving or whatever it is that you can invest in the vehicle, whether it's an ETF, whatever, and it starts moving, you find out after. But it already got in when it was pennies. So even a $10 movement is thousands to them. Whereas to us, $10 and then another $10 is just double. It's not thousands percent, right? So there's a huge difference. And that's what's going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Compensations in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. You see the man's name. He's here on YouTube. He has live streams himself. And I'm happy to see you. Make sure you guys go show some love on his channel, Mr. Compensations channel. Subscribe, like what he's talking about. Post-retirement travel. He's got a channel here and on Instagram. So does Mr. Compensation 365, I believe, is on Instagram. And post-retirement travel is on YouTube and Instagram. Hit his and subscribe to his channel as well. And EV Place, another man that deals in business, investing, all of that. If you like your speaker system in your car to sound awesome, then you got to pick up some of his power. That's right. Power is everything. Clean power. I should clarify. We can't have distorted power. Clean power that he is using that can increase your speaker sound, your speakers in your car. So you go see him. Some would say, well, where do I go? Hold on. What's going on here? I'm having all kind of computer problems right now. But you want to go find out what he does? I put it in the chat room. Go over the eBay and see what he does. He puts in additional power starting at around 700 watts, and he can make it go higher. The output from a separate power supply that actually recharges itself and can last for like an hour or more, depending on how much power you get. Go check it out. That's what his business is, which is beautiful. All right. Whales are moving in. They've already started. Mr. Compensation says, let's go as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you too. Hopefully everything's going well up in Jersey, man. I was just thinking about Jersey today. You know what's funny? I lived in Puerto Rico. I told you guys. And I lived in Jersey, and a guy from Puerto Rico, when we went to school together, he showed up in Jersey at the high school, or shall I say, I showed up because he was there first. And I seen him there, and he was one of those badass guys, right? Uh, one of the I wouldn't say bull of the yard, but all I'm saying is he's one of them guys you don't mess with. He's cool until him and his boys get ruffled and we got issues. So I go to Jersey. I see him at Jersey at the high school, and I walk up to him because he's on the bleachers in the basketball court at our high school gym, and he was just sitting there like, how could I say? It's hard to describe. You know how somebody's a badass, and then when they're not a badass, they're just sitting there like just ordinary citizen, I'll call it. So there was a lot of turmoil going on in our Jersey schools. Let's just put it that way. Uh, and so I see him, and I sit there and I say, "Hey, man," because I'm like day one, day two when I see him. I said, "Hey, man, do you see what's going on around here?" I was like, "This is crazy," and I'm like, "What's going doing?" I was like, "Why are you sitting here like this? You see all this crazy stuff?" Because he would be one of the regulators, so to speak, right? So now he sits there and he goes, "Yeah, man, I'm not like that anymore." I'm like, "What do you mean not like that anymore? Like 6 months ago? What are you talking about?" So ever since then, I was sitting there like, I was like, so the guy changed completely. Then about 6, 7 years ago, his brother hit me up. This is after 40 or so years. His brother hits me up, says, "Hey, aren't you this guy?" I said, "Yeah, man, where's your brother at?" He goes, "Oh, he's in Miami." This is in, my parents was at Ramey Air Force Base in Puerto Rico, by the way. And that's where I knew him from. And then just today, out of the blue on Facebook, he sends me some stuff about Ramey base or something. And I'm like, "Man, what is wrong with you?" I was like, mind you, a freaking 40, 50-year hiatus, but it's all right. It's funny how life goes. Um, this is exactly the same thing with life. You never know what's going to happen until it happens. But can you make plans before it happens? Yes, that's why we have to do desperation times. Desperate measures is needed. And desperate measures mean you have to study, you have to pay attention, and you can't be spending your money on wasteful things. You need to save as much money as you can and put it into a vehicle that's going to make you money long term. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. I implore everybody, can someone please stop the stock market? I'm tired of winning. Stay invested. Exactly. You have no choice. Okay, if you're new and don't understand the correlations, tax cut, tax breaks. That means taxpayers' money is being shifted up to the top 10%, the wealthy, for the most part. The taxpayers are the ones that's going to be paying a lot of taxes. All right. They're already have government money because they receive subsidies. All right. They receive subsidies. So that's why they can already buy back their own shares of stock, plus any profits they have, plus any stocks that they want to sell, and then buy back some more of their shares. Anyhow, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they're buying back nearly $15 billion over the next, now it's 2 years, of their own stock. And they're getting tax cuts and tax break money. So this is clear. with or without the Federal Reserve reducing the tax rates, the federal funds rate, the stock market's going to keep going up. There's nothing you can do other than be in the stock market. You want to just do index funds? Fine. I don't have a problem with that. You better get your VOO, which is a Vanguard group, or VOOG, or VTI, or VGT. Those are all Vanguard groups. You might as well just get in. If they move up 10, 15, 20, which they probably will, 15 to 25% over the next year or two, you win too. You don't have to pick stocks, but you have to be in the game. If you let the parade go by while you're sitting there waving, that is not a good option right now, because while you're waving, it costs you more money. Tomorrow, it's going to cost you more money to buy the same thing that you bought today. Yesterday's price is not today's price, ladies and gentlemen. And yesterday's price 4 months from now will not be 4 months' prices. The prices will go up. There's no way out. And the reason I say there's no way out, you're in a matrix. It's over. Let me say why it's over. You guys don't understand how dire this is. You would say, Eric, I own my own house. Great. You know what you can do with owning your own house? You can borrow against it or sell it. But if you borrow against it, you have an IOU. If you sell it, now where are you going to live? That's starters. So you have to live somewhere, right? Whether you buy, whether you rent, does not matter. The problem is the Ponzi schemes already built in that have been successful for the last 100+ years, insurance, that's going to implode because they're only taking low risk customers for the most part, which now means they don't have as many people buying the insurance. So the low risk customers have to pay more money for their insurance. So if you own a home, your insurance goes up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 year over year. So now you're paying an extra $200, $300, $400 per month. After 80% of the people are already living paycheck to paycheck, that's not sustainable. What else is going to happen? That means if you rent, then rent has to go up because the person has an additional $300, $400 or more. Some people have more, $600 more in insurance payments. Or how about no insurance payments and no coverage because the insurance companies deem you as high risk, or you don't have a new roof on a new roof. A 15-year roof is on your house. We need you to get a new roof, otherwise we can't insure you. You live in a we deem a fire zone, fire hazard zone. I'm sorry, we can't give you insurance. So now you have a home that can't be insured, that if there's any weather problem, it's damaged. You got a couple $100,000 to possibly fix it? Seriously. Desperation is here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even want to get into the next level that's happening. Property taxes, you're not safe because property tax, your city and state and county is upping the property tax. It doesn't matter your age. You can get some exemptions, yes, but your property tax is whatever they want. It can go up. So just because you paid $2,000 in property taxes 4 or 5 years ago doesn't mean it's not going to be double that now or more, because the value of homes rise. Nothing that you did. You still bought your house for whatever you bought it for, but because your prices go up because our dollar decreases in value and we have inflation, then price goes up, right? And when you have tax cuts and tax breaks and the Federal Reserve joins in starts reducing that interest rate, then all of a sudden people start buying houses, and they buy them for higher than what you bought yours for. So therefore, your taxes are going to go up the following year. Desperation is set in, ladies and gentlemen. Do you own anything, really? All right. What about your HOA when their insurance goes up? Because that's your next level. All of you people in the HOA, good luck. All right. This is a Ponzi scheme of epic proportion. We're going down. New roof on house done 3 years ago, EV place. This year, new roof on detached garage in progress. Hey, he's doing it now than later because later is going to cost you a lot more. That's part of infrastructure. That's why every time United States or any country delays on doing their infrastructure, going, oh, we'll do it 5 years from now or six. Well, guess what? It's going to cost you almost double 5 years from now. So if you think 2 million was a lot right now, 5 years from now, you don't know what that number could be. It could be 5 million. It could be 6 million or 7. You don't know what's going to happen with inflation. Well, actually, we do. You have 1 year, 5 months to go, ladies and gentlemen, to get your acts in order. All right, let's go. Post retirement. Have anyone here quoted a 6-month car insurance policy lately? If not, prepare to crap in your pants. Exactly. Thank you so much for that up. Our car insurance policy went up more than 300. This is unsustainable. This is insane. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They don't want to insure people. They're saying, oh no, we're not going to insure you. All around, insurance is a Ponzi scheme. They need more people. It's always been profitable for about 100 years because they were able to have, let's just say, 1 million people in their paying for their policies. So when only like less than 10% needs some requirement, that was a functioning scenario where they could say, okay, we still make a lot of profit and we're paying their insurance when they need it. Then when the hurricanes started happening, remember, these companies are worldwide and all over the United States. They're not just in Florida, right? So when you have a hurricane in Florida wiping out billions of dollars worth of property, then you have tornadoes in the Midwest wiping off billions of dollars worth of properties. Then you have fires on the West Coast wiping out billions of dollars of property. All of a sudden, they're like, whoa, the billions of dollars worth of property, that's what they say. So I'll just use an example. $5 billion of property got wiped out. They're going by the cost of the homes. What people do not realize is in order to rebuild that $5 billion, if they were all houses, we'll just say they're all houses, the real cost of construction to repair or replace oftentimes is 2 or 3 times when you have to do the construction. So if you think it's $5 billion, to them, they go, oh no, that's $20 billion after it's all said and done. That's why they drag their feet. They'll go out of business and file bankruptcy before they would have to pay any kind of your insurance policies. That's what generally happens. And so then they started doing the next thing in the 2020s. Hold on, we're just going to get the low risk people. But see, here's the problem. The low risk people, they live generally in the better areas, so their property costs even more. So when the fires happen in Malibu, 13 million, 25 million, $50 million homes, 5 million, all of a sudden, they're not going to like about 500 of these 10 million on average homes burnt to the ground. In Lahaina and Maui, they're not rebuilding their houses. They're saying, "Hey, I know your house is worth 5 million, but here's $2 million." And people are like, "What am I going to do with this? I can't rebuild my house for this." They know that, and then you got to sue them. That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Desperation is here. Your government's not coming to save your ass. Nobody's coming to save your ass except us right here. We're trying to save you now. All right. This is exactly not sustainable. This is where we're going. So I forgot, I didn't even include the car insurance. You have a car, registration costs more. insurance costs more. So no matter which way you go, I need food, costs more. Need insurance on a car, costs more. Need insurance on a house, costs more. My job, no, sorry, they're not going to give me a 20% raise to cover what I need to cover that I now have to pay for. It's not going to happen. So that means you have to have a side hustle, side business so you can get that extra 20 or 30%. You got to work for it though. So now you have your job, you work 8 hours, get off. It's another hour in each way and direction, taking time, doing whatever, 10 hours a day. Then 2 or 3 hours a day you got to spend after you've tired. Your mind doesn't work on 13-hour cycles. Let's just get straight. But you got to do it anyhow, or have a second job because you need the extra, or overtime if they offer it. You need to bring in extra money. Two people in a house. And if you have children, I do not know what you guys are going to be doing. I know there's people here watching with children. I don't know what I don't know, because there's stuff that's being in the pipeline that in Texas, they're talking about, first of all, no free lunch. Second of all, if you're poor and you can't pay for vouchers or pay for meals or do anything like that, they're talking about kicking your students out of school. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So now you don't want people educated or what? That's not the American way. We're supposed to be the best. The only way you can be the best is be educated. And for everybody that do not understand, if you have a college degree versus a non-college degree, you generally make more money over your lifetime. At least that's the way it used to be. But unfortunately, that's no longer the thing, because there's so many jobs that pay under 60,000 a year are piling up. They're piling up. And unfortunately, a one-bedroom apartment, two-bedroom apartments are going to cost you 60 or 70,000 a year. I'm just saying, when you start paying 2,000, I mean, you got to make 60 or 70,000 a year. If you start paying $2,000 a month and you got to make 3 times the amount, that's $6,000, 72,000 a year. If you pay 1,500 a month, you got to make 4,500. Now you got to make 55,000 per year. The average price, or your average wage in America, is like 60,000 if you 66,000 if you include the top 10%. So you can't afford 15. That's why you can't buy a house. And so people go, I want assistance. Okay, well, work with the assistance. Good luck. Because now you're going to have an IOU that you can't afford, and then 2 to 3, 4 years later, they're going to be calling you up going, hey, you missed your payment and you missed your second one. Joe Nay, I know he was on the island raising the roof, sipping his little drink, chilling, getting the bing, 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 bing today and doing the salsa dance. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he says his tagline this evening, what's good, everybody? It's good here. How is everybody this evening? Exactly. There we go. Post-retirement travel. That's insane, says EV Place. Hey, man, it's happening. It's happening everywhere. You cannot escape. People think they're going to be, I don't even know what they're thinking. There's nobody that can save you. Nobody. So you can stop blaming. You can stop blaming. The blame game is not my neighbor. The blame game is not the immigrant. The blame game is not whatever color person you want. The blame game is with our government officials making sure that the top 10% of the wealthiest stay the top 10% of the wealthiest and make sure they take the money from us. Instead of simply saying, why don't we just make it like it used to be, where the middle class was between 1950 and 1970? What's the difference? Oh, well, corporations, you got to pay your fair share of taxes because the employees that work for you actually help you make all that money. So therefore, you should have to pay the taxes. And we gave you some tax cuts anyhow that the taxpayers are paying for, which actually work for you and around the world, around the country. Oh, around the world, actually, because USA citizens, no matter where you live, have to pay tax on your income. I'm just saying. But anyhow, um, this is what's going on. They're selling us out. That's what's happening. And you still have taxes to pay of 20%. Just say 20%. Some pay 25, some pay 28. I'm just saying. You still have taxes to pay. So even if you make 66,000, your net's going to be 40 some thousand if you're in a W2 format. So just saying, it'll be 50, actually 50 some thousand, 52, 53, something like that. But the point is, nobody's saving you. Our government used to save you. They used to say, "Hey, yeah, you know what? You know what? We're gonna have low insurances for you. We're gonna have, public insurance if all else fails." They could afford it because the corporations were paying 40, 50, 60, 70% from their profits. So when you have all-time record high profits in the oil industry of a few hundred billion profit, why? The point is, who's giving them the profit? The people that are buying the oil, gas, and all that, right? So if somebody says, okay, man, you made $200 billion in profit this quarter, and you have to give up 70 billion of it to put into our taxes, so we have social services and everything, because what's the problem? That was our thought process in the 50s through the 70s. Well, 50 to 70, 1950 to 1970, roughly. 1945. Let's just go in that era. So now you get in the 70s, and that's when the wheels start falling off. Everything was going according to plan. United States was on the gold standard. Then Nixon was talking in 1971. Hey, see, this is what happens when you have criminals running the asylum. Hey, why are we doing this? We want to make some more money. We can just print money out of thin air, and we don't even have to back it now. We have world currency. Everything's fine, right? Okay, yeah, let's just take us off the gold standard, and we'll just roll with it, and we'll go make a deal with Saudi Arabia about making sure oil is exchanged using US dollars so we can kind of have it backed by something. That little thing started this whole thing from that time on until now. And then 1980, when Mr. Reagan showed up, he started doing the trickle down theory, which was nothing than tax cut, tax breaks for the rich, and an assault on Department of Education so people wouldn't understand what he's doing. And from that time until now, that's been the playbook under certain administrations. GOP administrations, let's just get it straight. Always tax cut, tax breaks means taxpayers have to send money to the top. Meanwhile, they're still getting subsidies, tax cut, tax breaks, and still charging us while they're getting subsidized more money so they can make more profit. Seems like it should have worked in reverse. Taxpayers are giving you subsidies, then we should automatically have price controls, right? But we live in a capitalist system. So everybody said, no price controls. It's capitalism. You don't want to be communist or socialism. I'm like, socialism? That's how you have Social Security. That's how you have Medicare, Medicaid. That's socialism. That's how you have free lunch for kids. Socialism. What's wrong with that? Fire department, police, socialism. What's the problem? And socialism is not tax cuts and tax breaks. That's socialism too, because we're using our tax money and you're giving it to the rich guys and corporations. All right, enough on the speech pattern tonight. But again, this is where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. It is going down. Financial desperation in the USA is here, and all signs say, as the little kid on The Simpsons would say, "Ay caramba." What can you do now? You have nothing left. You can only invest. This is Europe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, where people were 60, 65, 70, 75 years old. and they went to negative rates, putting their hard-earned retirement funds into a bank, and they were thinking they were good. They were getting things like, I'm sorry, sir, your money was here, yes. You didn't earn anything, no. But that $1 million you had in here, I'm sorry, we had to take like $300 this month. We have negative interest rates. So then the person's like, wait a minute, you're taking $3,000 a year from me just because I'm keeping my money in here? So that meant people started taking their money out, and you know where the money goes, into the stock market, in the EU stock market. See, and that's when all hell breaks loose in the EU, and people have to start moving out from the center of town because corporations, just like here, were buying up city centers and buying up a lot of properties in the city areas because that's where the most people are. That's where people go shopping, and they have their cities built differently than in America, right? Like an example, the reason why I love the EU often and love it is because it's built kind of like New York, San Francisco. It's along those lines, except you walk down your block and there's going to be the food store, the washing machine center, the grocery store is within 100 yards. So you don't have to leave your neighborhood. There's restaurants, there's stores, and all this is just a matter of fact. It's not all fancy neon signs and all this crazy, but it's in your neighborhood. So you just walk 2 blocks here, 2 blocks there, 3 blocks here, 3 blocks there. You have everything generally, and you get on the metro. So the subway. So that is why here's different. We get in cars, got to go to the mall. Now nobody goes to mall. But that's another story, ladies and gentlemen. Another story altogether. I was napping and I was disturbed by phone notifications. Thought it was an alert, but it was those dividend reinvestments. Exactly. That's what we like. In case you guys want to know what we're talking about here with these dividend reinvestments, every Friday, YieldMax ETF gives out their weekly dividends and they give out their monthly dividends, depending on which stocks or dividend ETFs that you choose. Go study YieldMax ETF, see if it fits your portfolio, your style. They do high risk, high rewards. Option income trading is what YieldMax ETF does. They buy a little bit of the underlying stock. So I'll use the hot one, NVIDIA. So they buy a few thousand shares. It's not that many, right? 200,000 or whatever shares of NVIDIA. Okay, fine. But that's not where we get our money from. We get our money from when they use income trading for those shares. And when people pay the fees or the premiums or whatever, any type of transactions that come in, they share it with us, the dividend, the stockholder. That's how it works. So when they have NVDY, which is their stock, then I think it was $1. Was it $1.02 this past month? $1.02 per share. That's a monthly payout. $1.02 per share. It varies every month, but $1.02 per share. So if you have 100 shares, that's $100 this month. And let's just say if you straight out and it stayed that way every month, then you would be $1,200. Now, you guys can do your own calculations. That's what you study, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're the CEO of your life. You have to do this now. You can't do this thing back in the day where when I went to school and working at jobs, people never really cared about investing. They would just put their money in the 401k. They would just be happy that they would back and say, hey guys, it was 8% this year or 9% this year, or whatever it was. They would just be happy. They'd be like, oh, the company's looking out for me, until the young gun shows up, because people were afraid of math for the most part. Not everybody wanted to be an accountant, right? Not everybody wanted to be in the financial industry because it's numbers and there's a correct answer. That's the one thing about math. There's correct answers, and statistically you can figure out where things are going to go, or not 100% of where things are going to go from statistics, but the odds increase or decrease, right? People don't want to do that. They feel a lot safer by having a job, knowing they're getting a paycheck, and knowing that they put this money away and they'll have this money 20 years from now, right? Or when they retire. That was the old standard. But now you're not safe because you may not have a job. You may have somebody that comes in the office and says, hey, I'm firing all, 100,000 civil servants that make $130,000, $120,000 annually. Now all of a sudden you lost your job. And 70% of the population doesn't even have $1,000 in their bank account. So that applies to some of these people that got laid off or fired. And then you have UPS laying off thousands of people. Microsoft laid off thousands of people. And we're not talking about 1,000. We're talking about 10,000, 5,000, 20,000. That's significant because these people generally make over $60,000 a year. So now our number could start shrinking if you start getting rid of millions of jobs. That's a bad thing. And AI will get rid of jobs. Research and development suddenly changes, especially when I can put it, hey, what is the statistical number on us being successful if we do X, Y, and Z? And you can talk into your phone and up pops something from some AI that tells you a long list of stuff you can do. So we don't need analysts anymore. I mean, ultimately, that's where this is going. All right. All right. I'm telling you guys, desperation should be setting in. Joe Nay, criminal complaint sent to DOJ against Fed chief. Freedom of speech is gone. I know. I can't even. I just. It's tearing down of our structure, our United States structure, to replace it with nothing but a dictatorship, authoritarian style. It's my way or no way. I know best, even though I've never ran any business successfully other than a management company business for my hotels. But I know best. That is insane to think about. Because again, we have a person that every business they ever have done has pretty much, and I'm not talking about that 17 to 1. You guys know that most millionaires, billionaires have tried something on average 17 times. So yes, the president of the United States has tried things 17 plus times. And that stuff you saw on Apprentice was fabricated. Trump steaks, Trump vodka, Trump water, Trump this, that, and the other. It's fantasy land. Trump TWA, whatever the frick he bought, Eastern, whatever it was, shuttles, everything business-wise goes to implode because he doesn't want to do business. He's strong arms, just what he's doing now. I want you to do it this. Here's a letter, August 1st. Here's your letter. The tariffs are going to go to 25% if you don't come and deal with me. Well, it only works because it don't even still work now. But doing that, if that's your negotiation tactics with other businesses, you can see where the other businesses like F you. You could see where the downfall would come because they'd be like, this, you can't do this. And they'd be like, you're going against our agreements. So now we're in a lawsuit. So now we don't even want to do business with you anymore. That's what his legacy is. Trust fund kid. What can you expect? Trust fund kid. But the point is, he's running America like his business. And he just has people that will do illegal activities as far as going against our Constitution and our laws. And unfortunately, we have a Supreme Court that says, it's no big deal against our Constitution and our U.S. laws. But you don't understand. What he's doing means you're done. You're not in the equation. You're not in the equation unless you're going to be a donor. And I'm sorry, you can't show up with $50,000 or $100,000. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. The guys that paid $500,000 for his crypto coin, that went down to Mar-a-Lago, he didn't even show up. Their special, everybody who bought that meme coin, 500,000, they were supposed to talk with him and all this stuff. Didn't even show up. Think about this. You're not big enough. So again, do you think he's going to care about you, who you only make $60, $70, $30,000, $120,000, $200,000? Come on now. Stop playing out here, ladies and gentlemen. Now he's doing this. Not him. He got like Comer or somebody in the GOP house to run a criminal complaint by the DOJ, and you have sycophants. So now we're gonna have problems. The stock market is gonna do this jittery thing because all investors should be scared. Because if he's gonna run the Federal Reserve, or I don't know what's gonna happen because they're not actually a federal agency. But the point is, if he's able to strong arm this, which is gonna go to the Supreme Court, obviously, and if they keep doing what they've been doing, then strong arms it, and then we do this reducing our interest, our Federal Reserve rate, the bond market is going to go, I don't know, I go crazy. I think it's going to go crazy. I think people will stop buying. And only reason you're going to reduce the Federal Reserve rate is to print more money at a cheaper rate. That's one way. But unfortunately, on the bonds, when the bonds go up to 5%, that now means American citizens and the United States government has to pay 5% for everybody that buys a government bond. Every bond is 5%. Now, instead of us having to pay $1.7 trillion, now all of a sudden, interest only every year, where are you going to get the money from? Then it's going to be in the $2 to $3 trillion. Our GDP is not even that much once you start doing all this stuff, because how are we going to pay down 41 trillion? Just saying. So you see why I say you live in a third world country, you just don't know it yet. And that's the bad thing. Hey, from EV Place, that's right. I've got some TSLY today. Now I'm at 4 digits in stocks. Wait. 4 digits? You're not talking about percentage. Okay, I was going to say 4 digits. Because if you start saying 1,000%, hold up a second. That would be awesome. 4 digits is awesome as well. That's great, man. EV Place. I see you at EV Place. Exactly. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. He's like the case study right now. A lot of us we've been talking about YieldMax ETF for over 2 years. But EV Place just showed up like 3 months ago. And he's listened to us talk, and he's sitting there giving us the rundown. And then I believe his last number was like in 3 months, 35%. In 3 months. This is what we're talking about, because if you were in the option income trading game and you're investing in Nvidia and you're investing in Palantir and you're investing in some other up and coming companies that are getting the golden ticket, then you're going to win, because you're getting to almost double your money within a short period of time. And that goes a long way, plus get dividend money. That's what you do, Money Making Monday. I wanted to do a test and put a little cash in XRP when it was down to $1. Yeah. Looks like a good decision. Yes, it was, Joe Nay. Exactly a good decision. It would have been a better decision when it was only like 44 cents and 35 cents like 5 years ago. I'm just saying. I'm just messing with you, man. It was a hell of a deal because they're one of the chosen ones. I just smashed that like button. I'm glad to hear that. We need some more people smashing the button, because this is what we're out here doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're out here trying to get a rising tide lifts all boats. I just went through Biz Buy Sell today a little bit. I could not believe the number of businesses that want out. I just could not believe, on all different levels. I mean, everything is up for grabs. Hotels up for sale. Restaurants always have been up for sale because those are hard businesses. But I mean, car washes, dry cleaners. I'm talking about gas stations. I'm talking about mini mart. I'm talking about it's all for grabs. Biz Buy Sell. Desperation is here because people are like, I have to pay employees. but my employees aren't showing up because I can't pay them nothing but 15, 10, 12, $15 an hour. Nobody can live on that. So coming into work is optional. Let's just face facts. Because childcare in itself costs thousands per month, potentially. If you have more than one child and they got to go to childcare, good luck. I mean, everything is out of whack. You literally have to make you would have to make six figures to live comfortably in America now. Just comfortably and still have a hard time investing with disposable income because you have to have a reliable car. And let's face facts, you can only, I mean, I'm a guy that don't mind 20-year-old cars as long as they're running. But the way they make cars now, if you made it to 20 year with a newer car, that would be a miracle without some major work to do. So it's very hard to have a 10, 15-year-old car. And then the guy says, yeah, it's going to cost you $20,000 to fix or 15 grand to fix this on top of everything else. That's where it's going. Just not any way around it. That's why you have to invest, ladies and gentlemen. And, oh, by the way, speaking of investing, you know what? I don't even have this in. Oh, I forgot something. Let me get investing dollars done. I keep forgetting. If you still haven't gotten your brokerage account open yet, I mean, you can go to Fidelity, you can go to Schwab, you can go to E-Trade, but if you want some free shares of stock from the promotion, then I'll put a link down below where you can go with Robinhood, which gives you one free share of stock. That's the affiliate link, so please use it. Then there's Webull, but with Webull, you have to make a deposit. I'm going to say $100 or more. Then they'll give you anywhere from 5 stocks to whatever the promotion is, 15 fractional shares of stock. And then Move, they want you to invest $100 or more, but they will give you the stock after 60 days and they'll give you like 4 or 5 shares of stock. So that is how you can get that together. And also, I should give you guys the other thing that our government is trying to take away, findhelp.org. If you need help with anything, I mean, I saw something today where somebody was saying desperation is setting in. I can't pay. I can't even understand this. I want to buy a house, but they can't. The down payment is the problem, but I guess they're going to qualify on the other side with the monthly payment, right? There's down payment assistance for homes, which is pretty wild, right? So people can't buy a house unless they get down payment assistance, which is understandable. If you have to put down 80,000 for a $400,000 house, that's significant. When people are living paycheck to paycheck, that's pretty hard. So I can see they're not going to get the full 80, but some sort of help is always welcome. But findhelp.org is based on nonprofit organizations receiving money from the federal government and the state, and they help USA citizens. So if you need help with a lot of things, even job training is there, which is a major thing right now. It's free. Put in your zip code. If you're in the US, put in your zip code and you'll get some help. You need transportation help, put in your zip code. They have passes in some cities and states. They have a way where, they'll give you a pass where you can travel every week. I mean, it's there. You need caregiver help. It's there. You need mental health help. It's there. Uh, there's a bunch of things there. In fact, I've been talking about it all the time. And let me do something else because I keep thinking I haven't put some things in my back office for you guys. The Robinhood, the Webull, the Wealthfront. If you don't want to make any investment yourself in stock, then just go see Wealthfront. All right. It's down below in the description box. It's set it and forget it. Zero management fee up until you get to $5,000. So if you put in 500, they'll manage it for free. Go see what the Wealthfront is going on. That's a set it and forget it. It's kind of like your 401k, right? Set it and forget it. All right. Now, let's see what else we got going on here because I have some things you know what I'm going to do? I haven't played this in a while. World Series of Poker. A lot of you guys, if you're new here, you may not know I used to play a little poker. Here goes a little something too. I had these promos. I had my promos for SSN Lifestyle. I was going to load them up, but here's a promo that I did find, which was the newest one. But I got many more. But anyhow, we'll talk about that in a little bit. See you in a second. Come on, come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for my little pause. All right, if anybody has any questions, you guys, the forum is open. If you're new here, we have discussions. It's open. Everything is fair and game here. We're not monetized, so we can talk about anything here. All right. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay. Just smash the like button. I'm loaded with XRP, $1.40 on average. Beautiful. Joe Nay did the right thing a year or so, no, or earlier this, yeah, almost 6, 7 months ago. Great job, Joe. Our EV place, Joe Nay, I'm loaded with XRP. Oh, EV place is loaded. Cool. Nay, Stellantis advises they're going to lose 2.7 billion partly due to tariffs. Exactly. That's exactly right. In fact, a lot of car companies are going to lose money. What people don't understand is the parts are made all over the US. US doesn't manufacture the cheap little pieces of parts, and these cars are made of all kind of little pieces. Because the factories and everything to build them in America would cost way more than if they're in Mexico, Canada, EU. And so a lot of the car parts that come in are now having that 15, 20, 25% increase. And when you start talking about billions of dollars worth of parts coming in and out, and keep in mind, people do not understand the other side of the coin. If you get in an accident, they have to order the part. The parts are coming from outside the US for the most part. So look at how many accidents there are and look at the insurance rates for cars. Now you understand. So now what happens? Your insurance has to go. You guys don't understand. There's a cause and effect. So the insurance company now has to pay more for the part, 25% more. So now it makes sense that the insurance company is going to go, oh, hey, your insurance, it was $2,000 a year, but now it's 25% more. Plus, we want to make a little profit. So now you got to pay 30. So now your insurance is 2,600 if you want to renew. That's how the numbers correlate. And then there could be some other things that come into play, such as we give our employees a 3% increase every year. So now it's 33%. See, this is what people don't understand. There's a chain reaction to any cost increase on the supply chain. It's not just cut and dry. It's not just like, oh, yeah, well, all the cars that come in outside of the U.S. is going to cost 10% more. No, it's cars made in the U.S. are now going to cost 20 to 25% more. And that's what is the problem with all the car companies. You're actually killing the United States car companies, and people don't understand it. And that's why we have to give subsidies from taxpayers. Our tax dollars is going to subsidies and tax breaks to make them stay afloat. Artificially, by the way, because if this was a capitalist system, it wouldn't be subsidies, and it would be like you have to be on your own, just like every mom and pop business. Almost. Some mom and pop businesses still get, funding or something. But just think about most businesses. You open a business and you get a subsidy. And if you got $100,000 a year as a mom and pop business because you're in business, I think you're going to be okay to stay in business, right? That would help you out greatly. That's what they're doing with corporations using our tax money. That's what you guys may not realize. That's the situation. It's bad. It'd be better if it was reversed. If all the mom and pop businesses met a certain standard, they cut a check and said, here's 50,000, here's 100,000, here's 75,000. You guys employ like 5 people. You pay them a nice hourly wage of $15 an hour up or whatever the cutoff is. And here, because you employ people. Mom and pop businesses employ most of the workers in America, even around the world. It's not the big boys. Even though you hear numbers like they're going to cut 5,000 jobs or 20,000 jobs, it does not compare to all of the businesses when you're driving down the street, from the gas station to the grocery store to the clothes store to the liquor store to the whatever stores you see. There's employees there. Every city, every state, every town, every county. That's millions of people. And they can't do livable wages, obviously, most of the time. They can't pay people like $40 an hour, but that's still a job. But imagine if they could pay people $35 an hour or $40 an hour. Well, if they gave them subsidies, maybe they could. Just saying. Trump announced today that True Social will invest $2 billion in BTC as a reserve strategy. That's exactly right. Yeah, and he enacted on that. That's why BTC is going to rise, ladies and gentlemen. All look, I just don't. I got to talk about it because this hurts us. This hurts the ordinary citizen. What they're transferring our dollar into in thin air. Cryptocurrency is thin air. People are using money to buy crypto. That's thin air. You're not buying a product. So your dollar isn't being exchanged for a product. It's being exchanged for thin air. That decreases the value. So your dollars are going to lose value. This is why desperation is going to set in. And that's why you need to have property outside the United States and maybe even a business, which also means if you have a property outside the US, then that means you can rent it, or you can, short-term or long-term rentals. A business outside the US is just as risky as a business inside the US. Different laws there. They don't have subsidies and any type of funding. You're on your own. You open up a business, you put in your hard-earned money. If you don't make money, there's nobody to save you for the most part. All right. So just keep on that. Keep that. But you're right, EV Place. This is why they set it up. They're doing it on purpose. All the corporations are going to be buying billions of BTC and Ethereum. That's why you have to be in BTC and Ethereum. Yes, you can buy derivatives of BTC and Ethereum on Webull, Moomoo, Robinhood. It's not actually crypto. And neither is it on Cash App. You're buying like a derivative. All right. So just so you understand, they allegedly, which they're going to buy the Bitcoin, but who knows? The earth is getting hotter. Groceries are rising in the U.S. Any relief anytime soon? Not happening. Not happening. 1 degree last year, the Caribbean Atlantic rose 1 degree. We're already over the degree where that's why all these rainstorms and tornadoes and the weather patterns are changing. That's what it has to do with. That's why this year there's probably going to be another 2 catastrophic landings of hurricanes. Cat 4, Cat 5. So if you live on the coast in Florida or in the Gulf Coast or up the eastern coast of South Carolina, North Carolina, or beyond, because now it's going up to New York and everywhere because the water is warmer, so it can go further north. So I'm just saying, no relief coming. How can it come? So everybody who said, I voted for them. I voted to get so-called immigrants, illegals, or whatever out of the United States. Well, let's just start with the number one thing. If I come to the United States and I say I have a work permit, I come to the United States, I seek asylum. I come to the United States, I'm protected. I come to the United States, I have an H-1B visa. I come to the United States, I have a student visa. That's not illegal. And that's why you have to show up for your immigration office at a certain stipulated time, whether it's once a month, whether it's every other month. You got to show up to your court case if you're trying to get residency or permanent residency or United States citizenship or green cards. You got to show up in court. So you're not illegal, and nor are you undocumented. Because if you were undocumented, then they wouldn't know where to find you. I'm just saying. So now, cause and effect. Now, there are some people here who cross the border. I mean, okay, I need a better life. I'm going to come across the border. I go to jail if I don't. I get killed if I go back. Okay, easy choice. I'm not going to go back. I don't want to get killed, nor my family. So hopefully I can stay over here. I'll work in the job, and I'll take a $10, $7 an hour job, and we'll make it work. At least I'm safe, so to speak. Okay, so now it's no longer the effect. You're taking away hundreds of thousands of people who are in our agricultural businesses, who are in the manufacturing sectors. So people don't realize, phone, any little putting pieces together, right? Assembly, made in China, assembled in the USA. So you can say it's made in USA. Any of your food and meats getting chopped up, those people aren't working. Left in the detention center. So all of them hundreds of thousands of jobs where nobody's working. And what about the farms not working? How's that process going to work? The food process going to work? Just in the one thing, the food. So now that the food can't get processed or harvested, does that not mean food prices are going to rise continually? There is no way to save this. So you want to act crazy? Well, guess who's going to suffer? Those of us who make less money than the billionaires and millionaires, you're going to suffer because the price is unknown. Next time you go to the grocery store, your favorite stuff that you pick out, let's say it costs you like now 100, 250 bucks. Next thing you know, it's going to be 300, and then it's going to be 350, and all this year. You guys know you grocery store, you're not being saved. There's no way. You're not going to be saved. And on top of that, you're adding anything coming outside of the United States into the United States, anything imported. You're saying those fruits and vegetables are going to have a 25% price tag on top. A quarter of the price goes up. So you tell me, if you know how to bankrupt a country, this is how you do it. And oh, by the way, those same people I was talking about, the immigrants, they contribute almost $100 billion a year without receiving any tax, any refund for taxes, anything. They're putting $100 billion into our economy from using services, buying groceries, buying stuff and all whatever from our businesses here. Sure, send some back to wherever they're from, to their family, but it's still $100 billion. And they don't receive anything for it. They don't get to get Social Security. They don't get anything. So we're going to miss out on that monies as well for mom and pop businesses in the community. You guys see where this is going, right? So if you think this is a good idea, well, good luck, because you better have a plan. And the plan's not be American citizens out doing their replacement job. You're not replacing that job. because you're not working for $7 a day, $10 a day. You're not doing it. Out in the sun, not going to happen. Out in the rain, not going to happen. This experiment's already been tried. After you're fat cats, it's hard to go out there and work your ass off. Let's get real. All right? Everything's getting hotter. We're going in a path that makes zero sense. AI, you know what AI is? AI means your job's going to be replaced. So now there's less workers. Robots are doing little menial tasks right now, testing. Where are all these jobs that you're going to be able to make 40, 50, $60 per hour from? There's going to be a select few. So we're just getting squeezed all together. And that's where the problem is. We need to go to green energy, obviously. We should be a leader in green energy, not AI, although AI we should be too. But green energy, we should have that. There's things happening around the world that we're behind. We're number one in all the bad things. Number one school shooting, number one in incarcerations. We're all in the bad stuff. We're not number one anything good. Healthcare, no. Education, no. Not even in the top 40 in the world. We used to pride ourselves on that, which actually made us the best and why people would want to come here because you had a chance. All right, agree. XRP is on fire. Even Solana. Yeah, I know. Solana blew up. Litecoin are going to the moon on the charts. All good, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two beasts. Yes, and you have those outer layers like Solana. I went to go look and I think it was like $200 or something. I couldn't believe it. And I have like Solana sitting around somewhere because I have an NFT, which was oh man, I can't remember the name of it. Monkey NFTs. And it was on the Solano chain. So I actually had some Solano for that. And then I looked, I was like, oh my God. Solano used to be like $2, $3. It was crazy. Just like XRP used to be like 44 cents, 35 cents. Litecoin used to be pretty cheap too. I've never even heard about Litecoin lately. But yeah, this is what's going to happen. You have to pay attention. Always, the altcoins always bust out. There's some altcoins like XRP, Solano, and a few others. They can bust out a little bit. There's nothing wrong, but I suggest Bitcoin. Right now, 35% on YieldMax wallet. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, EV Place 3 months. Here we go. He said, I've started 4 months ago watching this channel, so thank you. Hey, EV Place, thank you, man. I appreciate you being here and giving us some information, knowledge as well, and giving me updates because, again, there's people out here that don't think it's possible. It's possible, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to understand what you're looking at. Unfortunately, we're not taught. How many people were taught in high school anything about stock market investing? Does anybody wonder why they don't teach you stock market investing? Because if you actually had training for 5 years or 4 years or 3 years on the stock market, you would be a smart person. When you got a job, you would be like, hold on. I'm not going out here buying $200, $150 Jordans. I'm not going out here to buy clothes that is $1,000 and bags are 30 grand and 20 grand and 5 grand and 1 grand, 500. Hold on. I can put this money over here. I'm going to earn me 10%. And this time in about 10 years, I've made X amount of dollars. Your whole mindset would change. You wouldn't be out here buying liabilities. You wouldn't be going, oh, that new car over there that depreciates as soon as you drive it off. You'd be like, hell no, I ain't buying that. I'm not making any money from buying that. Where's this used car over here? That has all the records and everything and looks real nice. I'll take that. It's paid off. I'll just pay that off. So every money I get, I can invest. People would understand from an early age the investment strategies needed because it would have been talked about when they're 10 years old, 12 years old, 14, 15. studying this type of stuff, studying accounting, tax laws, real life stuff, bank accounts, all of that. Everything in the financials they should know, along with other things. Mathematics is mandatory, right? History, mandatory, the real one, not the watered down one, right? All that would matter. We would be a much better society. So everybody goes, well, what's going on? China, the rising empire, Singapore, all of these countries that are coming up now, what did they do? They used to send their children, if they could, they would send them to the United States colleges, right? Now it's bad. That's why I don't need solo 401k. Um, yes, you do, or should. I should. The reason why is when you take it out, your tax isn't going to be the same. That's why you want to set up the 401k. Because around, I don't know the tax rates. It goes by your income anyhow. But let's just say you made $100,000 a year, right? And that's your tax bracket. So you have your income from our UMAX ETFs, and your income from the UMAX ETFs. Let's just say at the end of the year it's 10 grand. So now you're going to owe 22%. I think that's the number. It's around that. You're going to owe $2,200. Versus if you had it in the 401k, the 10 grand, you get to come out, you have minimal tax exposure. Just saying. So that's the difference. Because that's why the Roth IRA is set up a certain way. The monies. So that's why you do I'll use the micro strategy. This is why like Ray Dalio, micro strategy. I forget the CEO's name, Michael Saylor. That's what they have their Bitcoins in, because when they pull it out, no tax on the gains. Just saying. It adds up. I'll put it this way, it adds up. So if you do this, which you probably will year over year, I'm just using an example. We'll use a 10,000 year over year. If you get, well, actually, if you get 35%, okay, but nonetheless, we'll still stay with it. But 10,000 a year, I'll use 10,000 a year. That's easier. Next year you have 20. Next year you have 30. And if you still have your 30 or 40 or 50% return on that money, that's 15 grand in just 3 years. So do you want zero tax, or do you want to have to pay 22%? I mean, I'm just saying, I know it's like, okay, if I get 15 grand, I don't mind paying 3 grand. Okay, or 3,600, fine. But why give away 3,600? That's more bullets to use for investment, right? Speeds up the process. So that's where they put all theirs at. All right. Tamara Larry says, I need help. Well, you're in the right house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. She's another investor. What do you need help with? Just let us know. We're here. We're here. And you always know you can hit me up on WhatsApp anytime. Glad to see you once again. Hopefully everything's going well. What happened, Tamara? Here we go. I need property where Joe Nay closed at. She wants that. Well, I can help you with that too. I'm a broker for that as well. Um, are you sure you want that though? Just keep in mind, it's inexpensive, yes. But what are you trying to do with it is the question. 50, 60, 70 grand is pretty good. 1 and 2 bedrooms. But again, they're building up that area. It's not really a tourist area, but is a They're building it up to be a nicer area. It's a little ways from the beaches, but it is what it is. If you can buy something for 75 grand and it's nice and it has a few amenities, we don't know what the occupancy rates are going to be. But if that's the area you want to go into, then it's possible. I could send you over the price list after, if you want to know. Or do you want to relax for a year or two? Hold on a second. Let me go look this up. Let me see if I have. I think I have it. Let me see if I have Jardines. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah. But either way, getting in on Jardines is pretty. I mean, it's cheap. That's for sure. Where's my Jardines at? I know I have it. I just got to go find it somewhere. Jardines 3, Jardines 4. It's good news because I don't have Jardines. I'll have to send it to you afterwards. I'm looking at. No, I don't want that one either. We don't want that. Mm-mm. Let's see. That's social. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I got sidetracked for a second. Yeah, I was looking it up. Yeah, I'll send you some Jardine stuff. But if that's where you want to go. But there's no rush, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to be on, okay, I have my thoughts um, on property in DR. They started to have some sales, right? There's a reason. Um, can't help you with that. We can help you, place. Don't worry. We can help. Eric, just in theory, let's say you can't afford for whole property. Would you be interested in buying part of it if you know last year rent revenue and you getting dividends from rent every month? Okay. That's always a promising proposition. Um, 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 yeah, you're using that word dividend, man. I don't like the word dividend when I own property. Just but yeah, I mean that works for any investor. Can I move my Yield Max wallet to 401k? Sure. Uh if you're on Robinhood, I don't have a yeah, if it's on Robinhood, then you can open up a 401k on Robinhood. And I think they'll move it for you. If it's Webull, I mean, they'll move it to your 401k. Make it a Roth though. You can't just be a 401k regular. In fact, I know you can. The only thing you can't do on Robinhood is you can't I don't think you can put your business in there. Whereas Fidelity or Schwab, you can run your business, have your business run your 401k, which is very, very interesting. But yes, you can do it. I'm pretty sure because I'm pretty sure because I have something to deal with them in that. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you can do a 401k. They have a Roth at Robinhood, Webull, whatever. They all have them. But make sure it's the Roth one, not just the. I'm pretty sure post retirement travel you too. We still getting 7 palms for the young folks. I'm old. I like the stage over there. Tomorrow, Larry, you didn't even tell me. You decided to keep the 7 palms? The stage. We still getting 7 palms for the young folks. I'm older. I thought you didn't want to get it. All right. Well, we'll talk about it on WhatsApp. I just left it alone. I figured Glenn, me, and you was handling the thing, so I should hold on. Hit him back up. Let me. So then you need to hit me up. Now I got to go look at something. Well, now I got to go see your unit number. So you didn't officially tell them that you want to cancel. Well, then that means you're gonna have to get with the program. They're not increasing the they're not increasing the oh man, I lost it. There we go. They're not increasing the payment dates. Just so you know, the monthly delivery for them is still December 2026. So, I mean, that's what they're still doing. So you need to uh, forth with it. Let me see if it's still on the menu. Um, if I remember the unit number. Uh, I thought it was 355. Hmm. You must be missing something here. I am missing something, huh? Now I got sidetracked, ladies and gentlemen, but this is I need this right here, right now. All right. Well, yeah, December 2026 is delivery date. That's only whatever, less than what is that? 16 months. Well, if you are, hit me up on WhatsApp because you need to let them know. All right, here we go. This whole place has changed. Let's go. All right. Thanks. I will keep in mind before taxes. Right. You got to do it, man. We all have to. This whole place is changed. Unbelievable. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I know. When they wiped it, absolutely. That's for the children. Okay. Just open a self-managed 401k. Once you open, you can invest on any stocks, including YieldMax. In order to roll it, has to be from one 401k to another 401k of same type. Is that the requirement? But you can. Thanks for the advice. I think you can open it anyhow and roll it in, right? Or are you saying they want 401k to 401k though? I think you can open one and then deposit what you have in there. I'm pretty sure. I watched as a new apartment complex was put up. I thought no work on Sundays over here, but they work 7 days a week till 6 at night. Oh, they went against the yeah. All the work is supposed to be till 1 on Saturday, and then it's supposed to be no work on Sundays. That's exactly right. And they can only work till 6 or 5:30 p.m. Monday. Well, non-holidays, and you can't work on holidays either. Which project is this, Jonay? That's crazy. Which project is that? That is crazy. That is crazy. Hold on, I saw something here. Hold on. I saw this. Oh, it was just open as self-managed 401k. Once you open it, you can invest any stocks, including YieldMax. In order to roll it, it has to be from one 401k to another 401k of same type. But you can open a 401k. I think should be able to. I don't know about the rollover though. I thought, let me think about this. I think it's, you can roll over. I'm pretty sure. But remember, I have different, it could be Webull. They have, depending on which ones. Fidelity, all these guys are different. So we'll see. Because Fidelity, I never had a problem with anything. But that's interesting. Anything you buy inside the 401k stays there, including capital gains and dividends. You can't roll over Yilmax ETS because these are after tax, i.e., these were bought with after tax money. Oh, oh, there we go. Okay. Yep, that's correct. He's exactly right. Great advice. Great info. That's exactly right. Okay. Well, that's great to know. Everybody out there, make sure you download. Okay, this 401k, you can pick several things. But if you want to add the business feature, then do not use Robinhood. All right. You use Fidelity, use Schwab, Webull. That'd be my top three. Moo and Robinhood. I don't really like the Moo platform. It's informative. Everything is there. It's just weird to me. I just feel more comfortable. But hey, if you feel comfortable with Moo, the links are down below. But those are the ones you should go with, in my opinion. But take your pick, whatever you feel comfortable with. It's ease of function, right? So if it's easy, if it functions properly for you, then and it's easy for you, then go with the one that's easy for you. All right. Great information once again. There's financial desperation out here. Getting your items, your ducks in a row is mandatory. 2025 and 2026. We got 1 year, 5 months to go. Wait, 1 year, 5 months. That's December 2026. It's almost here, just like that. Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, you have until December 2026. So start going. It's the countdown. January 1 is your countdown to have your credit in order. If your credit is messed up and you need to get that improved, we can help you out. Get with the big boys. Get your debts restructured without filing bankruptcy. Get it done in a year and a half to 2 years, and use our girl Trace at resolvefinance.com. I'll put a link down below in the chat room. And I'll put a whole nother link down below uh, in the description boxes so people will have it. But here it is, Tracy at Resolve Finance. Here you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's what it is. Yeah, well, we have that. Remember, you can only open a self-managed 401k. You need to show you're self-employed, own a business, or work for a W-2 employer. He's exactly right. So, as you guys know, number one rules, you always have your own business. You have your LLC. If you haven't opened up an LLC, well, there's easier ways than others. You can always go down to Florida, sunbiz.org. You can open up your LLC. Well, maybe not right now. I don't know if it's working, but uh, if it's working, you can actually get your LLC right now in less than 15 minutes at sunbiz.org. You will have to pay the 135, but so what? You can be in them. But you got to search. You got to search and make sure the name's available for your LLC. You might have to do some few other things, but if you want to, the address you're going to use and all that. But there you go. But he's exactly right. So EV Place has a business, so he shouldn't have a problem. No problema. This is why we always have everything you guys, everything that you guys we've talked about over the years. You already have the foundations. When we said you should have a business, when we said you used to get your LLC, when we said get your S corps, when we said do all this stuff, that's your foundation. because then you can do all kind of crazy. You can rumble with the big boys. It's just that we're not the planners. We're not the lawyers. We're not the guys that actually set up the whole thing for you. You're going to have to do it yourself or find somebody else that is an accountant, financial planner, certified. They'll help you out if you don't feel all right. But anybody can do it. Like he said, you just show them, give them the information. Because I had to do that with Fidelity. Because whenever you're going to do the 401k business name, they want your LLC paperwork, they want your business address. It was still simple. It's not, and then they verify. So it's that. Then they take a while. They open the account up. It's that simple. It's not hard. Tracy at Resolve Finance, if you want to get your debt restructured like the rich guys without filing bankruptcy, with them contacting your debtors. And you say, they negotiate. How much can they take off? 30%, 25, 40, 50 in name payments. Now you got it paid down, your credit, you can't get credit cards or anything like that. But at the other side, you need that 775 credit score, ladies and gentlemen. That's your goal by this January 1st is the number now. It's 1 year, 5 months. That's January 1st, 2027. Seems like a long way away, but it's not. Get everything in order. It's going to be hard right now because prices are going up for what you need to buy. And that's your old disposable income that's being siphoned away. So if you don't already have it in play, you need to get in play right now where you're earning money from dividends, earning money from appreciation on your stocks. You have to get in because that money is going to be gold. That's what it's going to be. Because if you can't pay anything, use any disposable income, and you have to use it for the price increase, that goes off the table. But if you already have something up and you have money coming in, even if it's only $100, $200, that's still some money coming in that you didn't have to work for and didn't have to earn. So you got to get in before you do reach your 100% where you have to be scrimping by every paycheck to pay your bills. Because it's only going to get harder. Nobody's talking to anybody in the United States about prices are going to go down. It's not possible. You can talk it all you want. You can act like it's not true, but there's no way. Everything is in motion now. Tariffs, tax cut, tax breaks, and soon to be Federal Reserve reducing the interest rate. There is no way out. The cost of living is going up beyond what you're earning. You're not getting 10, 20% raises. So you're going to be behind. All right, there it is. Resolve Finance, ladies and gentlemen. Hit her up. EV Place says, got it. Yep, you're already set, EV Place. You already have your business stuff. You already have, you can set it up easily on the 401k. Just take with whoever you feel comfortable with. Or speak with the, certified financial planner or something. They'll help you out. None of us here are certified financial planners, I don't believe. But we have a lot of people here that know what's going on. And I appreciate Post Retirement Travel sharing his points of views on how to get it done. That's what we do here. Okay. 130 Florida, really simple. Yep, that's it. Sunbiz.org, really simple is right. All right. EV Place, that's an option for you. You can open a traditional 401k and invest in Yomax, but no, all the gains, including dividends, will not be taxed. The 401k value will be reduced from taxable income. Exactly. Exactly. So we don't want to really do that. He doesn't have to. He'll qualify for the Roth IRA. He'll qualify. I can sacrifice 30% of my 100% annual profit from Yomax If that what will save the USA, it won't save the US. It won't save the USA, man. It won't save it. No, no, no. The only way the USA is getting saved is when they go back up to corporate tax structures of 70%. They go back to cutting down on the subsidies. They go back to no tax cut tax breaks. That's the only way. And they have no appetite. They're trying to siphon off everything. Everything that's being held, the Medicare, the Medicaid, the Social Security, there's trillions of dollars amongst all those groups of the funding. They're trying to siphon that off to give to the guys that are getting the government contracts and the tax cuts and tax breaks, trying to give them everything, even our Social Security. So good luck. Because if you don't have Social Security and you don't have a 401k that's substantial and you don't have a job, let's play this out. You get to be 50 years old, 55 years old, 60 years old. 5 years from now, you're in the new industrial revolution of AI and robots, automated workers. Robots already exist in Amazon, not walking around ones, but the ones that can move product around. Okay, packages and everything. They can move it around all over the warehouse already without workers, without forklift drivers, right? So that's already thousands of people have been replaced. Now we're going to the next level. So all the people who were making extra money from taxi driving or Uber, Lyft, and all that. Now, what's going to happen in the next 5 years? You're going to have vehicles that are unmanned. Now, those little jobs are gone. So it's just going to keep going. The workforce, the available jobs is going to shrink. It's going to cost you more money, even though everything is not everything, but a lot of things are um, under automation. Now, what's going to happen? You can see where this is going, clearly where it's going. So while it is where it is, why would, if I'm a rich guy, you're damn right, I'm going to be right with them. I'm going to be like, yeah, bring all the money to the top because we're not going to have businesses here shortly because we're not going to have people being able to buy our stuff. So now give us the money now so we can go invest, make some data centers. So then we can always make money and we can only have to employ 50 people to 100 people for the data centers. While the data centers, because of the information, we're making billions of dollars a year. And sure, we don't mind paying them guys $200,000 a year. It's only 100 of them. So this is where this is going. This is clear. I don't know what people are thinking, but this is where it's going. The data centers do not employ 5,000 people. Okay? So when you read the data centers coming and there's going to be 5,000 jobs or 2,000 jobs or 10,000 jobs, it's a lie. What they're referring to, why it's not going to be a lie, is they're referring to the people that are building the data center. It's usually 1,000 to 2,000 jobs. That's what they're referring to. After the data center is built, they're only going to employ 200 or less people. It's automated. So there's not going to be 5,000 jobs or 2,000 jobs or even 1,000 for a data center. And it's going to be sucking out a lot of electricity. And apparently, United States doesn't want to be on the green plan. So therefore, our grid is going to be stressed even more. You can see where this is going. If you don't have money, you are screwed. So that should be your number one priority now over the next 2 years. And because after 2 years, all hell's going to break loose. If not sooner. I'm even scared now about my 1 year, 5 months scenario because of the unexpected tariff wars and reciprocal wars that's happening. And our dollar has decreased because of it. And now that puts this on a whole nother level. And Jerome Powell, whether he gets fired or I don't know if he can fire, it doesn't matter. In 7 months, February comes, Trump can pick whatever person he wants to put in his place. From that point forward, they're going to do something stupid, and they're probably going to do what he said before, reduce the rate by 3% in one time. Not gradual. He'll do something like 3%. If they do that, that's going to have a cause and effect with the bond markets. Nobody's going to want to invest in the USA. The dollar value is going to decrease even further. That means inflation is going to skyrocket into hyper probably. That means everybody's at risk. If 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck right now during the month, if prices go up another 20%, obviously 90% of the population is going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And now we have a caste system, which is going to be bad. Just letting you guys know. So you have to put yourself in position. EV place, the only downside to opening a 401k, you need to remember you can't touch it until you're age 59 and a half. That good points. If you do, you get a 10% early withdrawal penalty. Hey, but post-retirement travel, you know what's coming? The same thing that happened before. They're going to waive this 10% early withdrawal penalty. In fact, is that even in place still? Is that really in place? It probably is at 59 and a half. You know what? I'm going to check into that because you know they put all kind of stuff in that tax cut tax break bill. So I don't know. It used to be 25 or something. It was something crazy when I was growing up. It was crazy if you withdraw out the 401k. I think it was 20% or something. It was hefty. It was hefty. All right, Brian P's in the house. Mr. Dividend is here with a big smile on his face because he got the vacation. He was doing the salsa dance again. And he's sitting there going, oh, I've been in this year and everything's looking good. Just like post-retirement travel. Because after a year, even though even the stock price going down, you have so many stocks that when the dividends hit, it's nice dividends when you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 shares. And they say, well, it's only 50 cents dividend. You're like, I'll take it. I'll take the 1,500 this week. I'll take it. Oh, man. Brian P., welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he says, happy day, Eric. Thank you. Happy day to you. Hopefully you had a good birthday weekend, but that was last weekend, right? I hope all is well with you. Happy day, SSN family. Yes, it is. Smash that like button. Thank you so much. Give it on peace, ladies and gentlemen. Post-retirement travel. I appreciate it. Exactly. Brian P., I got the notification and saw the video. Thank you so much, man. Everybody else, if you like what we're talking about, please subscribe to the channel. See us on Wednesday night at 8:50 p.m. We'll be back with more. It's desperation. Financial desperation is running amok. I can't blame you. We warned you 5 years ago it was going down. Now it's even more of a dire warning after they wiped out the middle class, coming for the upper middle class. And they're doing it. It's already in stone. Tax cut, tax breaks already makes it happen. So now you got 1 year, 5 months because you're going, oh, I'm in the top 20%. Well, good luck. You're going to be the top 10% are the only ones that's going to be under control and in the best position. Even if you're not in the top 10%, as long as you have money coming in passively, that will help you greatly. That's where you need to go. EV place. I'm a field IT tech servicing government places and data centers. AI can't replace broken cable yet, but it's coming. Exactly. Exactly. That's the few jobs that's going to be available out of those 100 to 200 jobs in the data center. That's it. Because soon as they get the AI up and operational, they're giving Palantir and all the rest of these AI companies government contracts, billions of dollars to figure it out. These data centers are going to be damn. I don't even think they're going to have even 100 people in there, quite frankly, in the next 3 or 4 years. I don't even think there'll be 100. I think there'll be like 50 people in there or less because everything's going to be automated, and then they're just going to need guys that say, "Oh, hey, that messed up. I guess we better start running diagnostics. Go over there and mess with it," just so they have somebody doing things in there. I mean, I don't see how it's going to turn out any other way. I agree with you on this. IT tech servicing is always good, and you always have to stay up with the latest innovations as well. Ongoing education, I would guess. Battery guy after hours. That's EV place after hours, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Hey, I'm not mad at you. It is. However, there are programs where you can use some of that money to buy a first time home. Exactly. I believe JP Morgan Chase was doing it when I was there. Exactly. Yeah, there's all kind of things you can do. Remember, speaking of that, because I didn't want to get into the other side of the coin, but the other side of the coin is if you have X amount in your brokerage accounts, that's an asset, just like a a ETF, assets under management. You could always say, give me 10% loan. I mean, you could pull the big boy stuff if you really ever needed some money, just saying. And the reason I use 10% is because use 10. The reason why, if you do like Elon Musk, Michael Saylor, and all them guys, they do like 30%. But see, they're on the stock market, so they get free money. So they can always pay if it went something dropped. So, and they get a margin call or something, right? Or say, hey, the values aren't right. You need to deposit money. They have no problem. Individual people, I don't recommend doing crazy like that. 10% maximum. Don't do anything crazy because you don't want to lose all your holdings. Even if the stock market goes down, there's no even when it goes down. It's going to go down. It's what are you going to do when it does go down? Have you already exited, put the money on the sideline, or are you buying more shares? What's your idea of when it goes down? You have to already have a plan or start thinking about a plan because the stock market can't keep going up. What goes up must come down. And if I go by history, since this has played out before, in I would say 4 years, because this would be like 1929, somewhere in there. So in 4 years or 3 years, there could be a meltdown. If we go by history using, and they're doing the same exact playbook as in the 1920s, we're in late 1920s right now, is what they did to seal us from the rest of the world with the tariff war, and it did the same thing it's doing now. That stops our competitors from buying from us on the other side because they're using reciprocal tariffs. So now their customers not buying from us for our manufacturing facilities. So now our workers lose their jobs. And after our workers lose their jobs, there's no money to buy our company's goods. And people outside of America aren't buying our company goods off of them. So our businesses are dropping. And that's why our stock market, one of the reasons why, along with the tax cut, tax breaks, and along with there's three things that they did. And there are three things we done again. Repeating history 100 years later is crazy after you know the outcome. But unfortunately, we have somebody that doesn't know history. They don't know financials. That's why they always had the trust fund kids always had, an accountant. It's simple. Um, so if you have somebody that doesn't read history and doesn't care about reading history and understand our financial markets, then unfortunately, we're not doing to repeat it, but our government head is going to repeat it. They've repeated it right now. It's happening. We're in 1929 all over again, 1930 all over again. So that means 2 to 3 years from now, without Jerome Powell and company being in play, because back then they didn't have a person such as Jerome Powell and the stuff they can do now. So there was no savings. So now we're going to be just like in 1929, 1930. We're going to have a sycophant in February for sure that's going to do whatever Trump wants to do. That means 3 percentage point drops, and that means all hell's going to break loose. It's going to be bad. All right. So just keep that in mind. Get everything in order. You have 1 year, 5 months. I'm telling you right now. Hey, Eric, check out this. ETF. Oh my, I knew I got something on that. I got something on that. I just wasn't able to check it out. It's $19.43, but I don't know what it is. We can talk about it right now once I can pull. Oh, the Berkshire. Yep. Um, there's no quarterly dividend amount mentioned, no yield mentioned. It just came out. Omaha Vista shares, high monthly income. Okay, what is it? Yeah, I haven't had a chance to check this out. There's also, let's see, what is it? Brokerage sign up for brokerage account. Ad funds. Yeah, we don't. I don't. Let me know if. Hold on. Okay, Omaha has a dividend yield of 4.96% and paid a 97 cents per share. Okay, that's not cute. In the past year, the dividend is paid every month, and the last ex-dividend date was June 23. So that means the next ex-dividend date is July 23rd. And that's saying it's 97 cents per share. The dividend yield 4.96. So almost 5% on 1943. It's $19.43. I don't want 5%. Sorry. Not gonna I mean I'm not doing that. Reason why is inflation is more than that. Might be steady. 4 point. Oh, sorry, messed up. Yeah, yeah. It's 97. It's 96.3 at this price point. I mean, 9 cents, 9.63 cents, 96. Sorry, 96.3 cents. So okay, if they say 97, fine. It's 97 cents annually. So we divide that by 4, 20 cents. No. Divided by 12. So 0.97 divided by 12. That's 80 something. 8 cents. 8 cents. 8 cents a month per share. Um, I'm not a fan. I mean, okay, look, 4.96. If you guys want to stay, Berkshire Select Income, whatever ETF is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But, but, but you can't afford in inflationary environments. 5% is not going to do you any good. 7% is not going to do you any good. All you're going to do is look at it and be like thankful that you got the extra money, but you're it's a double-edged sword. So all of us, let's just say you had, it doesn't matter, $5,000 in your brokerage account. The $5,000 that you have in your, let's say January 1st, you had 5,000 in a brokerage account. If you withdraw the 5,000, we lost 10% in our dollar value. So it can only buy $4,500 worth of stuff in 6 months. So already you're negative 10% just on that. And if you're only getting 5% for the year, you're going to be well underwater. 10% is $500, 5% is $250. So even at the end of the year, you still underwater by 250. And if you add your other buying power on the other side and you just have a simple 10% increase because of tariffs and costs, which it is, it's more than 10%, people should know. So we'll use 10% and be kind. But now your buying power on the other side, you're down 20%, not 10. So your $5,000 can only buy $4,000 worth of stuff and you have no way to come on the other side except you received $500. So you're still negative 500. So that's why I have a problem with bonds. And unless you have, you have to have multiple millions of dollars, okay, 4% or whatever, doesn't, you're doing fine then. But for every ordinary citizen who may not have three or $400,000 in their brokerage accounts, then I mean, even if you had 300,000, you know, you would get that'd be 15 grand. The same rules are going to apply. The 300,000, even if you were able to just take it out, you've already lost 60 grand. You already lost 30 grand on the dollar purchasing power by itself, never mind the inflation. So you're actually behind by a lot more when you actually run the numbers. But but if you have 300,000, you're going to be happy with 15,000 at the end of the year, right? At 5%. But why would you do that when you can have JEPI at 7, so 21 grand, or JEPQ at 11, so you'll have 33 grand? I mean, and then of course there's other things that you can do on top of that, but that would get a little more riskier. But anyhow, QQQJ, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with the QQQJ. That's an ETF. $32. And what's the J for? Is that just the name of the? Yeah, I'm not interested in nothing that does like, if I could even live with the 7 or 8%, but once you go under 5, it's like, but I don't even want to deal with the 7 or 8. 100, the NASDAQ Next Gen 100 ETF. Is it an Invesco product? The fund will invest at least 90% of its total assets in the securities that compromise the index by investing in the 101 to the 200th largest companies. Okay. That is very interesting. There's something to be said for the second, so to speak, tier. Oftentimes that's where some growth is, but I don't know if this is going to be the era of that growth for the second tier, because they're picking the winners as we speak. The top tier companies are getting all the government contracts and the funding and loans and all kind of things. Performance. It's been out since 2020. It's gone from, they put a growth in of 10%. I mean, 10,000 is what it started with. And they're saying, well, hold on. It went to 15. Is that 50% in 5 years? 10% per year, I guess. That's what it's saying. I can't really tell what it's saying, quite frankly. I'm looking at a chart. It's not even, it's from Invesco. Looks like it's an Invesco fund, which is interesting. So we don't know what their returns are. QQQ. QQQ has a higher expense ratio than the QQQJ. This can indicate that it's more expensive to invest in QQQ. Okay, targets its U.S. equities, while QQQ targets investing in U.S. equities. It's an Invesco. Invesco usually has some crazy performance numbers. Have to always be careful with Invesco. They have crazy great numbers sometimes. 50% in 5 years. Well, you guys know inflation has been more than 50% in 5 years, 10% a year. I can't get any numbers straight out. So Again, that one I don't see anything readily available. It's not telling. Oh wait, I know why. Because I didn't put in dividend for QQQ. Oops, that's M. Let's see. I don't have any water in here. Dividend 1%. It says dividend yield 1.07%. Annual dividend is 35 cents. That's not going to cut it. That's really not going to cut it. Not in today's environment. We can't do that one. Yeah, we can't do that one. 1% is not going to cut it, ladies and gentlemen. Um, you're going to need, you have to play with the big boys. Like I said, there's clear winners. NVIDIA, chip stocks, AI stocks, Palantir for security and other security platforms, Microsoft, all the big boys are going to be fine. Those are the guys that, if you want appreciation from a stock, I would highly suggest to look into. But yeah, you can't do 1%. You can't do anything of that. It's better, like when we talked about NVIDIA, and NVIDIA went from Business was here, Seamless Genius was here, and she said she bought it $95. That was in April for NVIDIA. It's up to 172 or 3 now. That is a significant increase. That's what's that number? It's 60%, 70% in less than a few months. But even that if that carried, it stayed the same and carried throughout the year, most people would be happy with $95 stock going to 170. Everybody would be ecstatic if that was your 12-month appreciation. But that's what you need to stay ahead. That's what you need. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm not doing, you can't do this right now. You have to go with something that you can get some appreciation, which there's no guarantee on any of it. But you got to do your homework, study. You need appreciation and you need dividends. If you can get both, which is available to us right now because of the volatility, especially with the option income strategy, that volatility has helped out a lot of people. Like I said, EV Place has been kind enough to always tell us what his number's been for 4 months. He said it's 35%. And here's the other thing, 4 months. By the way, EV Place, if you're still here, let me know if you're doing this as well. Are you including the appreciation from those ETFs and your portfolio? Are you including that too? Or are you just going by the dividend that's being dispersed? Because actually, on a lot of these YieldMax ETFs, if you would have got in on the almost 52-week low, and some drop below their 52-week low to create a new 52-week low, if you would have bought in then you have stock appreciation of a few dollars and you're getting the 35%. That's even better. So if it's 35%, including the appreciation, that's cool too in 4 months. But if it's actually just the 35% from the distribution of the dividend, then that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. So the best of both worlds, a gain of 10% on appreciation and 35% from a yield. We'll take that to the bank every day. Every day. And at the end of the year, the 35% could be 60%, 70% plus appreciation. We'll find out, but it'd be awesome if that happened. That'd be awesome. Yes, it is all included. Okay, so you included you're going by, I started with, okay, in your case, 25K, and it went up 8 grand in 4 months. That's pretty good. That's sweet. Um, yeah, we can do the numbers. Yeah, that gets us there. Yep, that gets us there. That is incredible. And if that continues, you could be wait, hold on a second. Let me do some mathematical number here. If this can, well, it has every reason to continue because the stocks or the Yield ETFs are backed by some of the best stocks that's rising, like the NVDY for NVIDIA, the TSLY, which is very interesting. Tesla's fluctuating, but it's still kicking out some dividends. But now, let me see something. What would that be like? So so if this duplicates, you would have another 8 grand on top, so that'd be 41. That would be crazy. No, it would be more than that because you're on 33, so that means you have more shares. Actually, at the end of the year, he could have. Oh my God! If this continues, he could be at 100%. Holy smokes! Great job, EV Place. Great job. He could be at 100%. Great buy. Wow, that's crazy. Great buy. Wow. Funny thing, I've never heard about Yieldmax before I've joined this channel 4 months ago. Yeah, man, that's the perfect timing. Rising tide lifts all boats. ULTY. Yeah, ULTY. Yeah, I'm just amazed. It's again, there's so much that goes into investing that you don't have to get too far into the weeds. But I look at it like I always tell you guys and everybody else. I say, you understand money since it's devalued. That means tomorrow, if it's a business, just like if you run your business, you're dealing in the money today, the value of money today. So if I can get a loan that's 10 years old, the money I make now, I can pay off the 10-year monthly payment easier as each year goes by. Because the money I make now from my business is more than what the value of the currency was back then. So it's devalued so far. Like right now, we're at 10% devaluation. If I have a loan on payments from 2015, I make 10% more or 20% more. So it's less. It's a less cost in reality. So once you understand that's what happens, then you have to understand the money you make today, the businesses are going to make more money. So every company that's successful on the stock market, the reason why they always break their record is because they're making more money currency wise because we've devalued the currency. So when they say, oh, it's an all time record high from their earnings, of course it should be because you charge more money now. It's not the same cost as it was 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So now you're charging today's money. So the prices went up due to the devaluing of the currency. So therefore, I can sell less product and still have record high profits. See how it works? So that's why everything can work out when you invest. You have to now. This is mandatory. Can't sit by, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm not going to stay on here any longer, but it's been a great conversation tonight. So I want to thank everybody that's participated in the chat room and gave us some great information and help other people out who'll see this on replay. If you have a question in replay, just drop it down there. If you have any comments, drop it down there. I check messages, not every day like I used to, because I've been doing some other things in the background, looking up some other business ventures and trying to get some other thing going. But every other day or so, I check and I get the info. Brian P., I did check the emails. I got your emails about the flesh eating, and the state of Florida had 100 cases so far from this brackish water, which again, I could never understand. When I was in Florida, I saw rivers that are going out to the ocean. And I'm like, the people would say it's brackish water. And I was like, I never heard of this. What breakage, bracket? What are you saying? They're saying something like this breakage water. I said, are you talking about toxic water? Because I don't know what that means. And I said, they're like, yeah, people are out there going. I said, what are you guys doing? Obviously, there's a problem here. Now we find out in this type of brackish water they're talking about, there's these freaking things that can eat your flesh and stuff. And we've had a few cases in Florida. And you know how DeSantis is. He don't want to allow anybody to know about how many cases there really are. He don't like giving out numbers of bad news. So we don't even know if it's really 100 or if it's 200 or 300. All I know is be careful in the water because they have these bacterias there. Oh, by the way, hold on a second. Yeah, here, let me just for everybody who might have come in late, check this out. I'll put a link in, courtesy of Brian P. All right. Other hand, I'm 39% up on crypto wallet since November. There we go. Glad to hear this, man. So you're on the right path, EV Place. The right path. And the beauty of it is I still, like I say, 1 year, 5 months, you got to ride. You got a runway. All right. Again, I don't know what, unfortunately, it could be upset altogether because all that had to happen was Jerome Powell and company. I wish now, I hope they don't reduce the interest rate. But unfortunately, I think they're going to do it. I'd wait. I would wish they would wait till we get stabilization because after August 1st, we're going to supposedly have some more tariffs coming from the EU. They're going to do the reciprocals because EU already said they're doing reciprocal tariffs against us. So that's going to cause a problem. And they're our number one trading partner, by the way. So if all prices go up 15%, well, they go up more because the supply chain, it's going to increase. But 20% incoming for anything outside. And now our companies, they're going to put a reciprocal for our companies that sends items to the EU. So that means we're going to have more layoffs. And so it's a bad downward cycle, except for the rich guys who are getting the tax cuts and tax breaks. So unfortunately, we have to do it the old fashioned way, earn it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. I'll see you on Wednesday night. I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. If there's anything you guys ever need, you know what to do. Make a comment down below, or you can email me at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. That works. Or on any live stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings, and we can have discussions then. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And hopefully, by my explanations of the percentages, math doesn't lie. You cannot have 10% decrease in the value of your currency and then have a 10 to 15 to 20% tariffs. And we already have inflation already in the pipeline, anywhere from 5 to 10% on top of that. So people are looking at things and going, why is the price 50% more, 35, 40% more? There's a reason. And it's ongoing. So again, just because you see it's 35% now, it continues to go because you're decreasing the value of the currency. So 2 months from now, it goes up another 3, 4, 5%. 4 months from now, another 3, 4, 5%. It's going to keep going. It doesn't stop unless you drop down to a certain level in barriers. And unfortunately, so far, that hasn't happened. So, like I said, be safe out here. There's desperation, financial desperation, and people do crazy things. And what's going on in their mind may not be the same thing going on in your mind. So just try to stay calm and be safe out here because it's going to get bad one way or another. Financials is one thing, and when people don't have money and don't have food, that means they're going to have to go get it. And that's where you have a downfall of a society. So just keep that in mind. And with all that said, make sure you keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.